a lot of town traffic on it.
I know I got a call from one of the South Hand residents, after we had put an overlay on the South Ree Heights Road there. And she was concerned because she said in the dark it all looked the same. And she was afraid she was gonna go in the ditch. But,
Without that outside.
yeah, well, without the inside, without the center line. She was concerned about the center line, cause it was happening nothing.
Yeah, I think we have to have at a minimum the center zone.
I think we,
Wondering about the shoulder.
but anyway, so it kinda sounds like there's not much we can do about that. I didn't hear about any sort of grant options for the striping.
No.
Don't think there has been in the past either.
Cause we subbed, last year we had someone else do it, I think, anyway, didn't we? Was it last year? Cause the state didn't do it then either.
There's usually a contractor that comes in.
Yeah, Traffic Solution does most of it. And, last year nobody painted, so everybody's behind on their painting. So,
Is there a date that we look to have this completed by, or that we're required to have it completed by, or?
none that I'm aware of, it's just a matter of getting it on before it's too cold out, you know. So,
So how many miles need done?
well, we try to, if we do 25, 30 miles chip seal, then we try to paint that road the following year, so we're
Gotcha.
25 to 30 miles a year, so.
So then, like on the center lines, then the contractor we use determines, like, passing zones and that?
No passing zones, yeah, they got those all mapped out. We used to have to go out and mark them ourselves. We had the old post pounded out by the right-of-way line and all that, but now they got the ability, they're all mapped out, so.
Gotcha.
In the fog, I have to say those white lines along the side are very helpful, and at night and dark rain.
I agree.
I don't to see those white lines.
I agree.
They can be, I got caught in a blizzard one time, and without them, I know I'd have been in the
Yeah.
ditch.
Yeah.
Right.
You need a motion to approve that joint powers agreement as,
Yes, we do.
Just in order to get the 14,000.
Right.
So moved.
I'll second it.
got a motion by Greg and a second by Luke. Is there further discussion on approving the joint powers agreement for the marketing? Hearing none, all in favor aye.
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 Opposed no. Motion carries. So it looks like we need to approve bids for supplies.
Yes, sir.
Stuff in the folder here, Doug?
Yes.
So, I've got them all in order for you. In the file, I think. They're kind of mangled papers. Right here in this folder, just to keep your life interesting. So, these are the contracts. So this is our bid for gas. Cowboy Country won the bid for gas.
Can we have a copy of what you got there so we can look at it?
Can you click here and
Where?
see the same stuff?
Yeah, you should, no, actually, I don't have it. I
don't think
didn't do
so.
that. I do have a copy of this on there, of the breakdown. So if you click on approval of.
But not Cowboy Country.
Not the detail,
There we go.
so,
Okay,
yeah, the
I got
Cowboy
it.
Country is the top one on there. And they said they'll take off .183 and the federal gas tax and subtract 10 cents a gallon off the pump price. So they got the bid on that by,
So what is it's not on here.
It's just an ongoing variable.
Yeah, because
it's
it's
just a
variable rate.
variable rate.
Okay. I gotcha, okay.
Yeah. as
They're
the
just
gas
10
prices
cents off the
change.
gallon.
Gotcha, yeah.
And the
Yeah.
gas tax comes off. Okay.
So that is the That's,
Okay.
that's the one that won by 0.001 cents. And the 10 cents per gallon, of course. But, so that you either accept or deny on the back there.
How many bids do we have here? Can we go through them and approve them all at once? Do we have to approve them each
Do we
separately?
need to do them individually?
I would say if you do that, if there's any that you object to, pull that one aside and then do the others in bulk.
The same past thing, we've done it in bulk, but if we've agreed.
If they're all responsible bidders,
I was gonna say,
we'd go with whatever's lowest,
right.
Right.
You do not have to go with the lowest bidder.
as long as they're responsible bids.
Correct.
Right.
You could choose to accept more than one bid as well, a primary and an alternate. We advertise these as non-competitive for,
We kind of do that with your equipment.
Do we need an
We
alternate
do.
in some of these areas?
not necessarily, no.
We could have two of them approved by now. Should we just do them one at a time so it's separated out? Okay, so we've got a bid for the gas from Cowboy Country.
Yeah,
We're gonna take off 0.183 cents and federal gas tax plus 10 cents a gallon off of whatever the pump price is.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Got a motion and a second to approve Cowboy Country. Is there any discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. What's next one?
then Egtegra, lost the bidding. They were higher than the others. So,
So who got the bid for, that was on
That was-
fuel?
that was for,
Diesel.
they were for gas or diesel and died. And they were higher than Riesel Oil on their bid.
So Riesel Oil has the.
So Riesel Oil got the bid. They're-
I'll make that motion to accept this loyal.
You got a second?
Second.
We've got a motion and a second to approve Riesel Oil's
For the
bid
diesel.
for the diesel. Is that dyed diesel or both of them?
Thanks.
Looks like it's for both of them.
1 and
What
2
about that?
died.
Okay. Any discussion on that motion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no.
You also need to do a rejection of Actegra. That's one of the items that was
Okay.
examined during the audit.
So,
Good thing somebody keeps us on track. Doug.
You need a motion
To reject them?
rejected.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion on rejecting Agtegra's bid? Hearing none, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries.
Alright, so there's the fuel. I don't know if you wanna-
Your paper's out of order, aren't
I'm trying to, this just would make sense to me. All right, and then we've got Jebro and Flint Hills for oil bids,
I? For road oil.
for road oil.
So this, are them the two oils you
It
use?
is, yes.
So-
I'll make a motion to accept Jebro and Flint for the oil.
So is this stuff, does this get delivered? We go get the,
It's FOB, yeah, it gets delivered, and,
okay, so they're,
it's about $8 cheaper, on the AE, and the CRS is about $20 cheaper, so it's pretty close. A little bit cheaper this year, but not much.
So the two different low bids are two different products.
They're two different products from two different companies.
Yeah.
Luke, you made a motion, is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
second.
Got a motion and a second. Is there discussion on approving those two bids for road oil? Hearing none, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Do we need to reject the other bids? Or-
I don't think there are.
Those are the only two bids.
Okay.
on road oil.
Right.
They're the only two you use.
Right, that's all you got.
Yeah. And then Roy Brownlee won the crushing bid at $2.40.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
A motion and a second. Discussion on the crushing bid for three-quarter crush, 50,000 ton minimum at 240. Hearing none, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no.
Need a motion to reject Eastman and Morris?
We're going to.
On Eastman, I would like to approve that bid for gravel washing. I'm not sure I'm gonna do it, but I've been talking to him. He's got a wash plant. He'd come in and instead of buying wash sand from Morris, it's 55 miles away. They're $15 a ton to go over there, and I said, I'll haul it. There's a possibility I could put it up quite a bit cheaper if I could get a wash plant to move in here. Just an option, so I'd like to approve that wash bid, not saying that we're gonna do it, but we'll have a bid.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
A motion and a second, is there discussion on the wash bid? Hearing none, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no.
Done.
Motion carries.
So what would you use wash gravel for more so than, what would that?
It works a lot better if you wash the material and run through the pug mix, for pug mix, pug mix material.
For the pugs?
Makes a
For
huge difference.
bonding,
Yep.
Mm,
That makes sense.
that's okay, so.
So you gotta
this
reject
is-
Morris, right?
Motion to reject
That would
Morris.
be rejected.
Motion to reject Morris.
oh, so we've got a motion to reject the Morris bid.
Second.
A second on that motion. Is there discussion on rejecting Morris's bid? Hearing none, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries.
And then, I believe under the equipment, we just take all the rates and call them in order of, if we can't get one guy to come, we call the next guy down the line.
I'll
So
make
I
that,
don't,
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Is it a motion to accept all bids?
Accept all of them.
Call the cheapest first and go down the line, is that what the motion is?
No, the motion is that they can call whoever they can get at the time.
Okay, alright. Alright, got a motion, was there a second?
Yes.
Okay, second by Greg. Any discussion on that motion of the excavator bids? Hearing none, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries.
and that is excavating and trucking. So,
Okay,
so yeah, there's that fun.
okay.
Come back a little later.
Have we covered that all?
I think so.
Thank you.
On the trucking, I got a bid from Danny Oswald, he pulls the big doubles. 'Cause I'm looking at the option of maybe buying Red Rock from Spencer. He can haul it over here in Sutton in our yard for about $31 a ton. But I gotta weigh that against, if I bought it for $15 from Morris and hauled it in here, it's a little cheaper, but the longevity on the Red Rock would probably outweigh using regular aggregate. So I'm really inclined to try a
That's for that plug
Test
mill too.
plywood.
That's for the plug mill too.
that would be for both, yeah.
Where's
Plugging and
Spencer?
shipping.
And
Where's
shipping.
And
Spencer from?
shipping, yeah.
Pardon?
Where's Spencer located?
It's about 125, just east of Mitchell.
Oh, that's Spencer.
Yeah,
Okay.
there's a quarry over there. Beetle County uses their product and they got
He's
a
got a
really
lot of
good.
trucks.
They do. I could, for the price you quoted me, it's just pretty reasonable.
So using that versus using what?
The regular aggregate. It's got a little better longevity, locks down tighter. Beetle County's getting along really well with it, so. I'm pretty inclined to try a test plot of it, and I think we can get some more years out of our chip seals. So,
Seems reasonable.
All right, well, with that, you want,
so the money generated from the wind farm, that we talked like it was between 200 and 250. And we were talking about putting that into its own fund for equipment costs.
we were hoping you would consider just depositing that directly into the long-term debt for the road and bridge fund. And that would help Doug not have to make so many transfers throughout the year, if it was just designated directly towards that. And that's usually about where the payments run money-wise. And then if we have any extra, and that amount exceeds the amount of payments that we have, that we could hold any remaining funds in reserve for future road and bridge equipment, perhaps. You know, we need to look at replacing that paver and probably the chip spreader too. It's 1960s. I don't know how much longer it'll last.
Is there any value in not making that decision until we know whether or not the road and bridge fund tax is going to go as planned?
Well, what do you think?
I think that if you do this, it will alleviate a $250,000 pull off the general fund.
By making the transfer?
Right, because you're just taking this new source of revenue and dedicating it to a purpose, which then takes the money we are spending now and leaves it open for other uses.
But you are, like, once it goes into that, we can't pull it back out. I don't think it's something we should do until we know if that road and bridge levy goes through.
Passes.
Because right now,
As department heads, we were kind of confused. I thought you guys were gonna sell a levy to try and start supporting yourself, and now you keep asking for more money and none of us do. I'm just saying that for myself.
I think it needs to go into the general in case something happens, we can get access to it. Till this road and bridge levy goes through,
Okay.
we gotta be able to get at the money.
We
that
can't
can-
reimburse the 143 if the road and bridge tax goes through if we make this transfer today.
We
We
can,
can't do that.
no,
We can't recover it, right? That's what I thought.
All right. Well,
that's where, but I'm saying it's something we can revisit down the road,
in the
Yeah.
but
future.
right now is not the time to be doing it.
Okay.
So is there a reason you'd earmark it specifically for the long-term debt versus just some
Well,
other
when that idea was
expense?
floated, we weren't so hot on the road and bridge tax, correct? Because I think I'm the guy who mentioned it.
Correct.
I think I'm the guy who said that, I think that's what we should do with it.
That was
But
brought
that was
up.
pre-road and bridge,
Tax levy.
yeah.
Okay. Well, the amount.
Those funds are, we won't see any of those funds until,
The following-
will we see any this fall, like late,
We'll see what was generated at the end of '23.
which there was very little,
Right.
but we'll see that in '24 sometime.
From the wind farm,
For the wind farm,
yeah.
yes.
Probably this month or next.
So,
I would just see.
I do think if you got a source of revenue coming in, there's other departments that would like to maybe have a little
Yeah.
chunk of it, not one department just gets it all.
yeah.
Well, and I would think.
I mean, I see the value in it, I do, but right now, I don't see the value in it right now.
I agree with that, but to be clear, like, you guys aren't asking for more money, you're just saying to replace a transfer.
Right.
It's basically, instead of a transfer coming over from the general fund, it's just gonna be deposited directly, and then it's less of a paper trail to chase through the accounts. Cause it's money that's gonna be coming over one way or the other. But like you said, it's gonna be
Probably
designated there.
coming over.
Well, hopefully,
If it isn't there, it can't come over.
Yeah, if
You
it's
got
there,
a
it
point.
can't go.
you got a point.
I guess my comment was where you were adding that you're gonna have to replace 2 more pieces of equipment, so then you're gonna be asking for
Oh,
more
no,
money anyway.
I know, well, that's why I wanted to start a savings. We wanna start putting stuff away so that.
Can
we
you do that, like as a public entity?
As a fund, we can put it in a fund, right?
I thought we were doing that.
For equipment purchase.
Capital fund.
Yeah, well, and we're kind of a special,
I mean, no, specifically for vehicles, I don't, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. Those are just general fund vehicles.
those are just, yeah. We're our old own fund,
So-
aren't we?
Is it kind of the consensus of this board that we will put that off for a while?
Hold off on that?
Yes.
No motion on that
Okay,
item?
all right. And then, okay, now moving on to the real fund. So, this resolution, I typed up, Jim, I'm sorry I didn't call you. I was in a NyQuil coma when I've been sick for a week now.
I
And,
apologize back, you called me this morning, and you literally just thought of it a little while ago.
and
that
Rebecca
this was
got
done.
back to me on Wednesday to let me know that Elton was thinking number 1 was the way to go. But that was before you had put in your 2 cents. So, you guys will see number 1, the resolution is a lot more legalese. The tax law is in there, the SDCL 10, 12, 13. And I figured that would clear up anything for anybody who has questions. They can look at that and know exactly where to go
This
in the
was-
law book.
Is what would be published.
This is what would be published. Whereas inflation, when you get to the second page, Jim was questioning, Eschenbaum was questioning, whereas inflation, material and fuel costs have caused construction costs to increase significantly, he proposed putting in, have caused repair and construction costs. Construction and maintenance costs to increase significantly, so,
Where is that language found?
on the second whereas on the second page.
Okay, inflation, material, and fuel.
And
So-
these were only suggestions I threw in.
Yeah,
That's what I-
on Jim's suggestions, number 3 there, I just changed it to reflect Jim's request, to say maintenance and construction costs. And then, I don't know, you guys go ahead. Have you looked over this already? So down on this decision may be referred to a vote of the people upon a petition signed by at least 5% of the registered voters in the district and filed with the governing body within 20 days of the second publication of this decision. Jim asked if we would be able to simplify that and make it the voters in the county and filed with the auditor within 20 days.
Will you say those words again? What was suggested?
Jim suggested we ask about saying the voters in the county.
Instead of the voters in the district.
Oh,
Yeah, I understand the district, it's the taxing district.
Yeah,
I think for clarification for our voters,
Good.
it should be the voters of the county.
yes.
And then it said, refer this to the governing body. It goes, refer to
To the
the
auditor.
auditor. He's the one that's gotta take care of it.
So that does
I just thought it was
clarify.
clarification for the, people,
I
if
think
this
those are
was,
both good suggestions.
if this was to be passed and possibly referred.
So, and if you guys want me to go in and, I don't know, change it right now, I can. But,
This is the one that Eldon wants to use because it's got all the law in it.
I believe so. He thinks that that's the best one to use.
The first one.
The first one. Well, but he hasn't seen 3 nor 4. So if you look at 3, it's just another version with Jim's simpler context.
And there's very little change. There's a couple
Very
things we
little.
talked about.
Very little. In the whereas on the second page, the first whereas, it says maintenance and construction costs instead of just construction costs. And on the bottom of that page, it says, the petition needs to be signed by at least 5% of the registered voters in the county and filed with the auditor within 20 days of the second publication. So it's really, like Jim said, it's just kind of giving them a little tighter direction in which way to go with that.
I think in the interest of transparency, which is important in these circumstances, we should go with the option that's listed as number 1 and which Eldon recommends, because it's got all the detail in there. And I'm talking about with the amendments.
That's option two.
That's option 3.
That's
And
option
option 3 is also that way, just with a little bit of word change.
That's what his word changes.
Yes,
Yep.
This is option 3.
okay, then 3.
Correct.
So I've got a question for the rest of the board. How much have any of you discussed this possible tax increase with the citizenry? I've asked people, I says, do you know anything about the fact that we're proposing a possible tax increase? And for the most part, they say no, unfortunately. I also asked them, would you have any suggestion of where the county would cut expenses or cut corners? Because we haven't even discussed that yet. some ideas that were thrown out was maybe the county doesn't need to pay 100% of medical insurance anymore. Giving that some thought, we are, Jeff brought it up a while back, we're already I would say $2 to $6 or $8 behind some other surrounding counties in what we're paying employees. Do we consider not paying 100% of health insurance? I don't know, that's something for discussion. Someone asked me if we
I
could.
think we raise the wage.
Are you gonna raise the wage cap, so then it's just basically gonna be on paper, the money is, you know?
That's what I'm saying, is we're already that far behind the surrounding counties. Are we just gonna raise wages to offset
Compensate.
making them pay their own health insurance to stay competitive in the labor market? That to me is I don't think it's, not that it's not open for consideration, I don't think it's something that's gonna work to save money there. I was asked about consolidating offices here on the second floor. Could you possibly consolidate offices and get rid of the extra employee in all of the offices? I've got no idea if that'll work or if it's, the logistics are there. But when
Not if you want the offices open all the time. I mean, that's kind of,
yeah, like I said, I
they're
can't,
kind of ticked off when you're close from 12 to 1.
yeah,
On days when there's only one person in the office.
yeah.
The reason the people who designed the state of South Dakota's government for counties designed it the way they did is for the purposes of establishing checks and balances, and thereby assuring that there is honesty in accounting for all the county funds. This office keeps that one honest, that one keeps that one honest, that one keeps these two honest. It's pretty hard to get away with anything when the workload is distributed in that kind of a manner. That's the way our forefathers set it up, for good reason. I don't think we should be talking about consolidating.
I guess my opinion is, I really don't see anywhere where we can cut. The only place we can cut, and it's a sad thing to say, is the highway department.
Yeah.
And all that is going to be is we're gonna just curtail services instead of, and that's just gonna, in the long run, hurt the county. Because if he doesn't keep up maintenance and repairs on the roads, pretty soon the road gets so bad you can't hardly use it anymore. We've, for a better way of saying it, have had a very low tax rate in this county. And we are going to pay for it right now. The point has come where the idea was good, but it just doesn't work that way anymore. Everything's costing more. I don't see your gravel coming down in price, your crushing of your gravel coming down in price. You did say oil come down a little bit. Well, that was this year. Who knows next year? I mean, nothing's, the way we're going right now is everything's getting more expensive instead of less expensive. And we are locked into only this much taxes we can collect. We've got to figure out another way to get some. And I think we've explored everywhere we possibly could do anything. And the idea of making our employees pay their health insurance, that to me, you just made a wage cut. And we're already behind the 8 ball on that.
No,
So,
I wasn't suggesting that.
but that's what I mean. I wouldn't even bring it up.
That was a question that was posed to me, and
But I mean, that's what when a question like that comes to you, the answer you need to give them, would you take a pay cut? That person that's sitting there, would they take a pay cut? Because that's what, if we would do something like that, which I will be dead set against, is a pay cut. So we're asking our employees to do more, but yeah, we're gonna take some money away from you. So I think we need to move forward with this, and I mean, the people are either gonna, like you said, there's a lot of people the meeting we put on was poorly attended, so what else do we do? I think at a certain point, we just have to move forward and see how it turns out.
In the end, if it doesn't pass, the old adage that people get the government they deserve will come home to roost. People will get the government that they wish to fund, and they will get the services from that government that it can fund and no more.
Yes,
Just that simple.
because we can't run in the red.
Yeah.
We can't.
They don't let us. I don't know if Jim showed you guys these numbers. I texted them.
I got them right, they're on here.
They're on,
Okay,
they're in.
okay. Anyway, Jim, do you want a physical copy?
I got one.
Your digital savings
So
tree.
the way I came up with that 75 cent per thousand, and I did include, it was presumptuous, but I included the wind tower 200,000 in there. I looked at the county's taxable totals, and I put where we'd set at each range of it being taxed. And that 75 cents would set us right at that $1,166,500 being covered with a little to spare. Now, if you take the wind tower's income out of there, that would pop us back up to where we need to be around 80 cents. Or even a little more. Because if you put that 1,366,000, we're gonna be short. So it's
So
the,
your 25 estimated revenues, includes transfers?
it includes transfers, it includes $750,000 in transfers, which is a reasonable amount from the general fund.
Right.
I know in the past, that amount has been higher, and hopefully this would keep it from having to be higher if it was passed.
So once we pass this, we can't ever exceed that unless we go back to,
Right, we can't go higher than 75 cents per thousand,
that's how we pass it.
If that's what we do.
except for the annual CPI. As the annual CPI goes up,
You'd have to start the process over again.
But we can't add.
But we,
Yeah,
okay,
to
now,
take it up to
so
90.
if we go with the 75, we can use any number we want, 75, and all of a sudden it's looking like we have a surplus, which I don't think it'll be a large surplus. We can drop down, but
Yes.
we can roll inside of here, back up. We can go back up to the 75 without going back through a vote.
Correct.
Can we
So
ever exceed 75 if we pass a new?
you'd have to
Only
pass
if
a
you
new
pass
ordinance.
it.
So what you have to look at is that enough at the
Right.
75? Because you don't wanna turn around in 3 years and go, hey, we need more. I would rather try to do it and then work down from there.
Then why not start at 90 if that's the case?
Because the first year you have to collect the 90, right?
Yes,
Am I-
then you
am I-
lower it.
I don't remember reading that.
No, I don't
I thought
think
you
we
guys-
have to. If we start at 90, then it's gonna be set at 90 from then on out unless we lessen it.
Yeah.
But you could back it off from
We
there.
could back it
You
off.
could set it at 90 and levy 75.
I think
Correct.
the question
I thought
is-
I thought when they did it, the first year you had to take the top amount. and then-
Oh, no, I don't think you have to the first year.
In the calculations, has the 25% of the tax revenue that's collected within the municipality that goes to the City of Miller Street Department, has that been taken into?
Yeah, is that taken out of here?
You know, it's not.
That's,
It's not. So that extra
yeah, that pretty much the extra would go to,
would go to the cities probably.
It goes to the four
25%.
municipalities.
yeah, 4.
Oh, but 25% of what's collected within those municipalities.
Within the municipalities, yeah.
No,
That's
it's collected countywide.
No, I thought it was in the,
It's collected within the
It's
municipality.
within the municipality.
And do we have any idea what that figure is?
No.
I thought it was countywide too, but obviously. I don't think
No,
it should
it's
be
not.
countywide.
No,
It's-
I'm pretty
it's
sure
not.
it's within the
It's with-
municipalities. Which,
Who would we talk to make sure we know that we're all talking on the,
I can show you where I got my information from on that, and it's that same pamphlet that we've been looking at
Mhm.
for the last umpteen months.
but there has to be
So is there another?
someone at the state that you can talk to.
So the clause quoted here, it says payment to municipalities from federal matching aid levy. What does that verbiage mean?
However, 25% of the taxes generated by the property within a city will be remitted
Okay.
within the city.
Yep, it does say that.
So it is within the city limits
Yes.
that will be remitted to the city. So that was my understanding.
The value of the city
Yeah, yeah.
versus the
What was
value of the
collected in
county.
the city
Yep.
will go back to the city, well, 25% will go to the city.
Well, I think you need to crunch some numbers before you decide to pick a number.
we've
Cause you gotta know where, cause
Y'all
there's
know
no
what
sense
that
doing
is?
it.
I don't,
This
to me,
and short.
to me, I don't see any way of going just to the high end personally, but.
No, I don't either. But
My question is are we gonna go through all this for somebody, for people to feel overwhelmed by that 90 cents?
I'm not saying we should go to the 90.
Okay,
I'm just saying you may want to, if 75 is just getting you by and
yeah,
with the municipalities getting 25%,
right.
I'm assuming we're gonna have to go higher because the numbers ain't gonna work.
Yeah.
I think you also have to
So
think
I would
about the
assume like
fact
these
that
numbers
most of the voters in Kane County
Approximate.
live in those municipalities, more than half.
Taking
They're-
That is
they're
very
gonna get
true.
peanuts from,
Right.
so here's
Some of these. are
something we've gotta
rural
consider.
areas too, I'm sure.
Yeah, but I
If we push this off, we have to do it by our July meeting. If we pushed it, if we're gonna do it, it has to be done by our July meeting. If we push this off till next month, well, we already missed the primary ballot.
Yes.
So what would you assume to be the cost of a special election?
The opt-out election last year cost us about $8,000.
So there will be a cost, if it's referred to a book, there will be a cost to push off past the primary election and have to host a special election. I myself, I wanna see more numbers put together. So when any constituent of mine asks me, what did you need this for? Where's the money going? I wanna have a legitimate answer for them and not, well, we just decided it's spur of the moment to pass this thing. I will state that I don't have enough facts and figures yet to vote on this. That's my own personal opinion. I would abstain from voting on this today because I don't have enough facts and figures to make this decision today.
Isn't the only big figure that we're missing that figure which represents the 25% that would be sacrificed within the municipalities?
Yeah,
That's the only
that
figure
is
we
the
don't know.
only, yeah, that's the only number we don't have that I'm thinking of, that I'm aware of.
Do we have, a way to estimate what that might be? Do you guys have it?
Jamie has a projection for the cities.
Or what do you think it is?
But I'm sorry. I'm looking at you.
So, do you have a projection of the
Value.
taxable land values in city limits?
In
The
city
For the
limits.
four
All the
cities?
municipal.
All the
All
municipals,
municipalities.
I can run it, get them for you.
Sorry to put you on the spot.
No, it's okay. That's all right. Give me a second.
Thank you, Judy.
Yep.
Because I think the option 3 is where I would lean towards as well, as far as the overall verbiage, but that actual figure is where we need to be, I guess, what we need to set in
Yeah,
stone, in my
well, and
opinion.
if we need to go up to 80, I don't know. It's up to you guys. I know.
You know, and it's all, to me, it's one of those things that, that's what it is right now. I mean, in 3 years from now, how is it gonna look? I have no idea. You know, other than I'm pretty sure things aren't gonna go down.
and as a state legislature lets the counties raise their overall tax, this could go away.
That's
That's the part.
That's immaterial, it's still.
No, yeah, that's what I
property tax
mean, we gotta
collection.
deal with what's
No
in
matter
front
what
of
we
us.
call it, we can put any title on it, it's a tax increase, no matter what we
It is.
call it, and I'm not saying we don't need it in any way, shape, or form, but I
Well,
just,
the information that we got, you know, the small committee that was looking into the county's financial situation, that was not overly helpful to us, was it? They spoke at the last meeting we went to. And basically they said, well, we're looking at maybe taking the indigent legal fees off of the county's hands. Well, what do we have for indigent legal fees, Doug?
20.
Not,
Yeah.
not a bunch.
20.
If they took out the indigent fees in general, then it would be.
That would be nice,
Yeah.
The
right?
thing to know about that is,
yeah.
it's
They
from the
they would
meetings
pay
up.
for it.
It's
From
not,
the state somehow.
Who's gonna
It's-
take it over?
I want to ask you guys a question. Do you think
The
that's
state.
it's not going to cover all of our
No.
court-appointed attorney fees.
So it's not gonna really help us anyway.
Do you think if we had a special election on this, it's more likely or less likely that people would be motivated to vote because they're against it?
You can say that both directions.
Yeah, dude, you just can't guess that one.
I mean, who's going to be motivated to come out and vote on one matter in the middle of a non-political season?
Those who don't like it, I always thought.
That's what I think.
Yeah,
That's exactly
it's
what
not people that went to the meeting and
No.
want to get educated, they just want to say no.
Yeah.
I agree, it won't pass if you go that way.
I don't think so
I
either.
would-
I think there's value in doing it at the general
I would agree.
primary. Huh?
I would agree with you.
But no, I know the majority of taxable land income or taxable land value is the ag land.
Right, I mean, you look at that sheet you passed out,
Mm-hmm.
and if you take your other entities, look at that overall, and then it's 25% of that, I mean,
Yeah.
it's something, but
It's
I
not,
just took it, it looks like those, anything other than ag land is about 10% of,
Or less. yes.
or less of it, and so 10% of the 1.16 million, and then 25% of that is like 30 grand.
right, right. I don't know that it's gonna make that big of a difference, and the fact that we're coming out with that, what, 66, 76, 86, 96. Like, we're coming out 35,000 ahead on that anyway, so that would really actually offset that.
It would be a wash pretty much.
Yeah.
Sorry, roughly 100 million.
Thank you.
You're
So
welcome.
it'd be even less than that, almost half.
I think we should make a decision.
I agree.
I think having it on the ballot would be a good thing. If we wanna bump it up to
if it comes to
80,
that.
Yeah, that's,
if we wanna bump it up to 80, I mean, is that something we can change right now?
Well, the primary election ballot is will be proposed this week. So if you do it before July 15th, it would be on the general ballot.
if we do it before when, Doug,
July 15th.
what about on the,
That's if it's preferred.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is,
is it gonna be referred in time to get on the primary ballot anyway?
I would be very surprised. Time is very short because we're literally in production mode of the ballots. I sent out the
So,
first
So what,
request already.
so why, if we're taking the primary election, if we're taking this being on the primary election ballot out of the equation, why should we rush into this? This is the only way, why should we rush into this today without, more discussion, more numbers crunching, and
I think we have all the numbers we need, don't we? Don't we?
if,
What'd you say, 100 million?
Yeah.
I mean, the way I see it, I mean, we can always crunch more numbers, and I assume that there's more things to delve into. I don't know exactly what it's like you're wanting to know exactly what we're going to be spending on, or what the numbers are in the current deficit? You're trying to,
Have we really looked at the possibility of cutting expenses anywhere? I know we say that we can't, but have we done our due diligence in looking? And I don't know, if you nitpick a little here and there, you know, can we pick up $50,000 by cutting quarters? I just don't know. I feel like this, and this is only my opinion, you guys have got your own opinion, your vote in the matter, but I feel like we're rushing into this, especially if we're not gonna get it on the primary ballot. Maybe we can try more public information meetings, I don't know.
So you don't think this can make it to the primary ballot? If it got referred?
They have 20 days.
They have 20
refer it.
days to
They'd
refer
have
it,
to
right?
almost file it tomorrow for me to get it on there. Because Elton's gotta write the language for it. I mean, it's not an hour-long process, it takes time.
when do the primary ballots have to be?
But they get to start voting 45 days ahead, which I believe is that the 19th of April?
Wow.
I already sent out our draft ballots to be printed. The only thing.
Primaries on the, what?
The primary, putting this on the primary ballot is basically out of the equation, the way I look at it.
Your only alternative, if you want the primary, is to do a regular hand-counted ballot at the same polling place with a second set of election workers.
We could put it on the ballot.
Yes?
We wouldn't have to wait for it to be referred. I don't know that there's much mileage in that proposition from our perspective.
When does it have to be for that?
Hmm?
I'm just trying to think of. The general election is
November,
November.
first Tuesday in November.
But by then it's already passed, we'll have to go another year.
when do we have to have it by? I thought we said it by the year.
July.
Was it July?
July 15th.
15th.
In order for it to go into effect next year.
In order for us to get money next year.
I don't know, I feel like we need to proceed. to get-
We do, we need to
We
proceed.
can't just keep waiting, because I'm afraid we're
Back
gonna,
to,
then it'll be next year, and then we either have to do it.
Well, if we go next year, we'll be in trouble,
yeah,
You're not on.
long and short of it.
well, like I said, I'm not saying we don't need it. Back to previous comments that have been made in this discussion. Like Jim's comment, this discussion's been put off by COVID money. It literally has. It's been pushed on the line by COVID money. You know, inflation is kicking our butt like it's kicking everybody else, and I guess that's what puts a knot in my gut about this thing is everybody's household budget is greatly increased, and now we're asking for it, but I don't know.
I have a motion made, Mr. Chairman. I move that we go with 80 cents on the road and bridge tax, that we present option 3 if necessary. No, it is necessary for publication.
Yeah.
80 cents using the language in option 3?
Yes, in option 3.
Second.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second on a road and bridge levy of 80 cents per thousand, using the wording in option 3, correct?
Yes.
Discussion on that motion.
Because I looked it up, you figure if you had $100 million, 25% of that at 80 cents is like 20,000 or a little over $20,000. I mean, it's not gonna substantially change that whole bottom line, I guess,
To the municipalities.
to the, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, and I'll just state my thought process behind this. So, I mean, I've had a lot of time to think through this because this seemed to be a problem to me when I first came on the board a year and a half ago. I mean, it was not difficult to see that we're gonna run into an issue here, so diving into the revenue and expenses, unfortunately, the conclusion that I came to is anything that we come up with is going to be a short-term solution to a long-term problem if we talk about saving ourselves, here and there. Like I said, I'm sure that we could probably come up with $25,000, $30,000, $50,000 of savings, but that's only gonna put a very small droplet of water into an ocean of a problem we've got here, so. I mean, unfortunately, this situation we've got, it's a hard one to swallow, but reality of it is here.
Yeah, and it's not gonna get any better.
And it won't get any better. Unfortunately, this is a large problem, given to us from our federal friends. They pumped a lot of money into stuff.
And I agree that 80 cents seems more realistic, for sure.
No, I would move the question.
Okay. I would assume we will take a roll call vote, on the matter. Jim Jones,
Yay.
Luke Larson,
Yay.
Dan Jensen,
Yay.
Greg Palmer,
Aye.
Jim Eschenbaum, Chair. I will vote, with the rest of the board, aye.
She's gonna go drop that resolution in final form. It's 2:00, you managed to take a brief break, 'cause I was not able to get audio to play on the recording, so.
None of this has been aired.
All right.
The video is, but the audio isn't. But the last time it happened, I used Jan's audio and seamed it together with my video, so all is not lost.
So we, what, 10 minutes, is that what you want to take? Or
Pardon?
you say you want to take a break?
Yes, yeah. We'll recess for 10 minutes, 15.
Eat one of your nuggets, Jim.
Those are good.
Do you want
And they're really good for you.
I'm sure
Oh,
they're.
it's dark chocolate. Oh.